So some people want to hear my thoughts on the Daniel Penny verdict that he was acquitted of negligent homicide. He killed a homeless person on the subway. He claims protecting people and in self-defense. I guess self-defense, but protecting people. If you've never ridden the subway in New York City, you wouldn't know how dangerous it can be. I rode the subway many years ago with my mother and stepfather. And we've encountered a homeless person who was, going after my mother and stepfather because they were an elderly couple. They looked like tourists. If you go into New York City, if you don't behave tough, if you don't behave like you're large and in charge, if you look like an out-of-towner, there are these homeless lunatics who might actually go after you and target you, and they pick up on who's vulnerable, who's meek, and they go after you. Apparently this homeless person was harassing people on the subway, threatening people. Many people have experienced this if you ride the subway in New York City, and you know exactly why Daniel Penny did what he did, without even having been there and not knowing the circumstances around it. He was a hero. And to get put on trial, when the guy was clearly protecting innocent people on the subway, it's got to be traumatizing because he could have been convicted of negligent homicide. And, there goes his life. Thankfully he was acquitted and he goes back, he gets back to his freedom. But, there are homeless, dangerous people on the subway, and somebody says, bring mace or pepper spray with you into the city, or bring a knife. God forbid you're the person who, winds up protecting himself with a knife on the subway because you're getting harassed. You're vulnerable and you wind up protecting yourself with a knife on the subway. Well, you're going to probably be going to jail for homicide if you do that, because even if it's in self-defense, because especially if the person is, I don't want to get into this, but I guess the moral of the story is New York City is really dangerous. New York City's a real, and I'm glad Daniel Penny got acquitted because he was a hero who was protecting people from a homeless lunatic who was threatening people. So it's a good verdict. It's a good verdict. Common sense won.